from Wenatchee Valley College. We are the ESRT program, Heating and Air Conditioning. My name is Jeremy.
Francisco.
And I'm Max.
I'm Ryan.
Today we'll be showing you how to pump down the system.
We're going to run a commercial refrigeration system and turn on all the evaporators, the compressor, the water-cooled condenser, and then we're going to store all the refrigerant when we're done in the liquid receiver so that when we're done and it's shut down, we won't lose any refrigerant. First, we're going to open the king valve so we release all the refrigerant into the system.
You can hear it flow.
So it's starting to flow.
Open up all the king valves in the system. We need to see, that's all of them.
So now we just backseated that valve on the condenser, and all the refrigerant's able to be released throughout the whole system. The next two valves we're gonna backseat, not entirely all the way, and then they get front seated forward so we can get gauge pressure readings. And we're starting to get some pressure readings there as Max front seats these valves. On the low and the high side of the system.
Now, all the refrigerant is in the system. The reason we connected the gauges is to show us when all the refrigerant gets pumped down, it's going to be stuck in the receiver. And once the pressures hit the zero, that will let us know when it's done.
One other thing too, we had to make sure this water valve is turned on because it's a water-cooled condenser.
Turn on the evaporator. Our evaporator is located on the ceiling. We hit the switch, system come on, and then we move on to the coolers. As you can see, we have two display coolers. That one's on, and Max will turn on the other one.
The solenoid, make sure the thermostat's set low enough.
The solenoid just...
Because this particular one is a freezer, not a cooler. So it's set below 32 degrees.
see the fan motors running in there, so we know this
The
is
suction
now.
pressures come up now the compressors have been turned on.
We got both compressors running right now. Our oil level is good,
Sight glass is clear of bubbles.
and our sight glass is clear.
For it to start cooling before we turn it off and pump down the system.
And because it's a wastewater system,
System.
we got water coming out over here in the sink, and that's what's cooling our refrigerant in the condenser.
So as you can see, the evaporator is on at the moment.
As you can see, Frankie's taking a temperature reading, and it's starting to get pretty cold down here in the evaporator. So we know the system's starting to cool and starting to work, and we will be able to pump it down shortly. What temperature reading are we getting, Frankie?
56 and going down.
56 and going down, he says.
This cooler is more of a milk beverage cooler, so the temperature doesn't have to be as low as the other, because the other one is a freezer type, not a refrigerator type.
And our ambient temperature in here is probably about 70 degrees, so it's being affected by that as well. And it's fairly old, but still works well. Pressure's looking good over here. System's running nicely.
So now we're going to start pumping down the system. First thing is we're going to shut the king valve to make sure no refrigerant leaves the receiver. Alright, king valve is closed. Now all the refrigerant will start to gather in the receiver. If we watch on this gauge, you'll see the pressure drop. We're going to see it get down to 0, go into a vacuum, and then we will know that the compressor has pulled all the refrigerant over into the receiver. What's this one?
The line is halfway there. We've been pumping for 5 minutes. Another 5 more minutes, it'll be pumped down to a negative.
You can hear the compressor starting to sound different.
Yeah, go, Frankie, go.
Now we're shutting off the valve we opened up earlier.
Fast. All the way?
All the way.
Now that's shut. All the refrigerant is stored. I'm going to shut off the compressors.
Now we should have all the refrigerant in the receiver down here, and that prevents any migration of refrigerant to the compressor, which can cause slugging and startup and damage the compressor.
Move back, see both these.
Off the evaporator, the top unit.
And now we'll
Now we're shutting
travel
off.
over this way and shut off evaporators over here. So flick that switch there, and he's gonna go flick the other switch over here.
And now I'll shut off the freezer.
And
The system is now all shut off.
that's how we store refrigerant and shut down a system.
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks.